Okay. And how did your journey changed from an analyst to a senior analyst and now to a team lead of 12 people? What do you feel your role responsibility changed during all these years and these roles?
In a one word, I would say like it was just taking more responsibility. So even if like I started as an analyst, I had that vision of taking more responsibility and looking to my left and right. So I think knowing my left and right, I would say like the other teams like which were working in conjunction was a major win because that that thing and the connects that we build within the organization was also a major driver because if you have to resolve some issue, at least you know like what's the input, what's the output, and if you have that knowledge on your tips, and then I think you can play with the process while working in the organization. If you are just like with your bended heads just working straight to your work and not looking here and there, like not getting to know what's the exact impact that we are making, then of course it would be difficult to grow. But when you know like what's the whole process line starting from point A to Z, I would say, then it becomes like really easy because you have everything on top of your head, you know, like persons from the various teams which can resolve those issues. Those floor connections was a, I would say, major win to resolve these issues because you cannot do everything. You won't have like all the accesses, so their connection and the relationship buildings comes into the place. Of course, the knowledge of the process that you are doing is the must, and it's like how you want to see yourself. That's, I would say, the major driver. Like if you see that okay, you are the one leading the team, then I think it's it's uh even if it's any field, I think you will be there like in some time if you
Sure.
have that vision.
So what I am so happy to hear this today that you were gaining knowledge day by day, but you were also making excellent professional relationship at work, and that is the reason you are here today. So while I was
Yes.
looking at your profile, I do see your career objective when you have talked about meeting deadlines, making something new, innovating something new, and making the environment to learn. Would you like to elaborate a little on this for the freshers who need to learn that how to meet the deadlines? And what do you mean by a deadline? It is just matching your work with the date, time, or is it something else?
Yeah, meeting deadlines or working well with deadlines is because we are in a finance industry and everything has a deadline. Even if like you have to submit your audited reports, even if you have to submit like 10K, 10Q statements, you have to submit cash line audit, like you have to submit unfunded commitment. Every these things have a deadline, and these things kind of like goes into the company's financial statements, like which are public. So of course, meeting deadline is important in addition to the accuracy of the data because the data on which we sit is public, and many like investors and underwriters, they do make decisions based on that. So of course like we have to work well with deadlines, and also there are two stages of deadlines. One is like for the reporting deadlines and the other one is like the currency cutoffs. So if we are operating in a live market, let's say euro GBP, where like we know okay at 7 or 8 we post that like we won't be able to make trades because the market for that particular currency will not be working anymore for the rest of the day. So if we have certain trades to be executed and settled, so of course like we have to be on top of it. So working well with deadline is like just prioritizing the list of the work that you have in a day and what the P1 level and what P2 and P3 and planning the day and moving ahead. So of course, like if some there are same day trades like which will be settling on same day, that will be in a P1 priority list. And of course, there is something with reporting where we have a good window of 10 days, 12 days. Definitely, we can mark that as P2 and P3
Okay. So
in
do you
one.
remember an occasion wherein you were falling short of your deadlines?
Yeah, definitely. I think in if there are these situations, but in the kind of industry in which we are, so I think in these steps, what we do is just to escalate these things well in advance. If we know that we have a lot on our plate to take the help, because I think there is many folks like who are in I would say like 0 to 3 years of work range. They are working, and at times like they are not confident enough like to ask for the help. So this is something I would say like there is no, I would say, stupid request or stupid question in the corporate world. I think if you are in a situation where you cannot handle a lot a lot of volume or something, I think one should raise hand and escalate well in advance, instead of like anyone like over in that organization would like to have the work completed rather than having a failed rate,
Wonderful.
because that costs money.
I understand. And when you mentioned that you were working as a facilitator for cross-functional training, what was that?
So currently like I'm leading two sub teams. So like first team is like majorly geared towards managing the external credit lines, and the other team is more towards treasury analytics. So just to, although like it's a one team, but just to facilitate the cross training, what we do is like we draw a line of sand, I would say, in just between, so that like the training can be facilitated. But once the folk start getting trained, then there is an issue where people thinks, okay, that I'm working on the credit facility lines only, and the other person thinks, okay, like I'm working on the treasury analytics part, and they don't expand. So what we do is like we generally try to shift like folk from one area to another, because it's in between the teams, so that everyone is cross trained and have a good backup planning, and everyone can also work as a floater player. Like if someone is not there, they can cover two tasks, or so that's, I would say, like the need. And it's also enhance their skills as well, because they it there increases their exposures, I would say, horizontally.
Okay, wonderful. I think that is going to gain a lot of experience while you are even working at a later stage with cross-culture people as well.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
so coming back to